Look right this way. This says firefighters are community helpers. Oh, I appreciate firefighters. In fact, I'm going to tell you something special. When I go on vacation, I travel all the way up to Maryland. It's very far from here. It takes a long time, but one of the things that I get to do on my vacation is I go to a fire station in Maryland. You might think, Mrs. Turner, why do you do it? Because I have a cousin who is the fire chief. And you know what he lets me do? He lets me sit in a fire truck. And do you know that loud noise that you hear in some fire trucks? I don't know if it's all, but I know in his fire trucks, your foot, you press buttons with your foot and it makes those loud noises. It makes the sirens. Oh, it is so much fun. I like being with my cousin. You see, he has such a big job to do. He helps people. You see, that's what firefighters are. Firefighters are community helpers. What are they?
Community helpers.
I want you to look here at this card. You can see that there's more than one. There are so many firefighters. There are firefighters in Pensacola. There are firefighters where you live, students watching, and we need to pray for our firefighters. Let me tell you a little bit about our firefighters. Now, a firefighter helps a community. When there's a fire, the firefighter will go to that house, they will go to that building, and they will put out that fire. But sometimes firefighters have other jobs to do as well. Sometimes firefighters will need to go to maybe an accident to help people. Maybe they go to a house to help people. They don't just put out fires. Firefighters are there to help people. If someone gets hurt or someone is in a dangerous situation, firefighters may be called upon to go help. A firefighter can be a man or a woman. I've seen them. I've watched them. They all can do that special job to help other people. You know, firefighters don't go to houses just by walking to them to put out fires. They need to have a fire truck. A fire truck is usually it's great big and it's red. It could have a ladder on it. It could have a hose attached to it. Fire trucks are important. They're going to get the firefighters to the emergency quickly. Those firefighters are going to get in that vehicle. They're going to travel. Maybe you've heard that loud siren. You've heard that horn that's saying there's an emergency. You need to get out of the way. You see, firefighters have special equipment on the fire truck. They have axes. Sometimes they have to break a window. Sometimes they have to go up on the roof and they have to put holes in the roof so that the air, the smoke can get out of there. You know, firefighters have big jobs. You know, firefighters have to wear special clothes. We learned that our crayons, they have clothes, and we keep the clothes on our crayons. We have clothes that we wear to school, but the clothes that I see you wearing in our classroom today are not the special clothes that firefighters wear. You see, they need to wear special protective clothes to keep them safe when they do put out a fire. They're going to wear a helmet. What are they going to wear?
A helmet.
And that's going to protect their
Head.
That's good thinking. The helmet's going to protect their head. They're going to wear a jacket. They're going to wear gloves to protect their hands. They're going to wear bunker pants. They're going to wear these great big boots. Sometimes if you go to a fire station, maybe mom or dad or someone will take you to a fire station one day. They don't mind if you come to visit, but you're going to see that they have their boots there and their pants are kind of already with it. So when there's a fire, they just step in real quick and they pull up their bunker pants and they put on their suspenders. They put their jacket on, they snap it. They're ready to go. Oh, it's quick. They're not pokey. They don't say, oh, there's a fire. Let me put on my gear. No, it's fast. They want to help you. They want to get there. So they get to wear special things. Do you know, if you see firefighters, sometimes they've got this big tank on their back. And then they've got a mask that's on their face. You see, that's giving them air to breathe. Fires have smoke. And that smoke, it's going to eat all of the oxygen that we need to breathe. We don't even think about it. God made us to breathe without thinking, oh, I forgot to breathe. No, we don't even have to remember to breathe. That's the way God made us. But that smoke and that fire, it wants to eat all of our oxygen so we can't breathe. Those firefighters, they have that mask. You know, when they wear that mask, it doesn't sound like the way Mrs. Turner sounds. It could be a man or a woman, but they're wearing that mask, and when they breathe, it kind of sounds like this. Did you hear it? Don't ever be afraid of firefighters. If your house is on fire and you hear a firefighter calling you and they sound different and they're talking different because you hear that noise, don't be afraid. In fact, if your house is on fire, I want you to don't hide. Don't hide in your house. Go outside. Listen, don't hide, go outside. Say that. Don't hide, go outside. Talk to your family. Where do you meet once you get outside? Do you meet by the mailbox? Do you meet by a neighbor's house? Is there a tree that you meet at? Have a special place to meet. If for some reason your clothes were to catch fire, you stop, you drop, and you roll. I'm not going to demonstrate that for you because my clothes are not on fire and I'm thankful they're not. But you stop, you drop, you roll. What do? Stop, drop, and roll. If your house is on fire, don't hide, go outside. If your house is on fire, don't hide, go outside. If your clothes catch fire, the firefighter wants you to stop, drop, and roll. Good. That's how you're going to help put out that fire. You know, firefighters have to learn things. They have to learn directions. They have to learn streets. They have to learn which way to go. They have to know where these streets are. So if you have a fire at your house, they get a call, they don't have to say, how do I get there? Where's that road at? I don't know how to get there, so I guess I can't go help them. No, they have trained, they have studied, they know how to get to your house. Oh, they're going to work together with other firefighters to get to your house. Firefighters have a big job. They have to pay attention. Now, we've talked about the clothing. We've talked about the importance of firefighters, and they're going to help us. How do you get a hold of a firefighter? Well, if there's an emergency, you call the number 911. Students watching, your on-site teachers may give you a little bit more direction regarding this, but I have to tell you, you only dial 911 when there's an emergency. Only an emergency. Because you know what happens? If you dial 911 on your phone and you are being silly, those firefighters are going to come to your house, and then there's another house that's on fire that might not get the help that they need. When you play and you're silly and foolish, when you play with 911, the people that really need help, they're not going to get it. So let's just agree now that we would only dial that number if there's an emergency. If there's what? An emergency. Sometimes the firefighters, they work for days, and they work in the morning and they work in the evening, and sometimes there are beds in the fire station. When I visit my cousin in Maryland, there are beds there. Do you know that they cook meals together? They like to eat together, they like to talk together, and they work hard together. The firefighters have a job to do. They don't wake up in the morning and say, I'm tired, I'm not going to help people today. No, they get up in the morning and they have a job to do, and they're going to do their job. Their job is to help people in our community. What can you do for firefighters? You can pray for them, that God will keep them safe, that God will give them wisdom as they help people. You see, these firefighters have a great big job to do. Now, some firefighters, they get money for doing this job. It's a job. They get paid to do it. But then there are some towns and areas that are just so small that people volunteer. They volunteer to be a firefighter. They didn't get paid. It didn't matter to them. What matters is they have the opportunity to help people. Oh, these firefighters are special. Class, stand. Class, go behind your chairs. And as you turn your chairs, you're going to take out your crayon box and put it on your house. And you can say what I say. 10 brave firefighters sleeping in a row. 10 brave firefighters sleeping in a row. Ding goes the bell.
Ding goes the bell.
Down the pole they go.
Down the pole they go.
Off in the engine, oh, oh, oh.
Off in the engine, oh, oh, oh.
Using a big hose, so, so, so.
Using a big hose, so.
Good. When the fire is out,
When the fire is out,
home they will go.
home they will go.
Back to their beds,
Back to their bed,
all in a row.
all in a row.
I want you to just keep your paper, make it a happy paper, but turn your eyes over this way. I want you to look at some pictures that I found for you. This is a fire truck. Do you see that ladder? That ladder will enable firefighters to get up to a window to rescue people. Those firefighters aren't afraid. They're going to do whatever it takes to help you. So we have the fire truck. It has a hose here. It's attached. Now, sometimes they need to take a piece over to a fire hydrant. They attach it. Now, a fire hydrant, it's usually red. People can't park near the fire hydrant. They have to keep it clear in case firefighters need it. And they can connect it with a hose. So here we have a fire hydrant and we have the hose connected. Now, that isn't a very big hose. That's just to show you the connection. Some firefighters, do you see how he's there? He's just holding it. Sometimes the water that comes out of that hose, it is so forceful. There's so much water that sometimes two firefighters have to hold it. Now, some fire stations, they're going to have a dog. When I think of firefighters, I think of this Dalmatian dog. Now, it's not going to wear a hat like that, but sometimes fire stations have them. Do they all? I don't know if they all have them, and that's okay. My cousin's fire station, he didn't have it. In that poem you said after me, we talked about a pole. Some fire stations upstairs, they've got the beds, but then they have a pole that the firefighters can slide down. Not all have it. You know, my cousin, his fire station, they have a pole, but they prefer to use the stairs, and that's okay. It's up to them. Now, for this picture today, the direction says, color the picture. Firefighters help keep us safe. What do? They help to keep us safe. Now, I want you to look at the picture that I colored. Mrs. Turner is not saying that you have to color your picture just like mine, but I want to tell you something special. Before I show you my picture, I want to teach you something. I want you to watch me. I'm going to take my yellow crayon, and I'm going to carefully, where the fire is, I'm going to just be really gentle. Do you see I'm not coloring in every bit of it yellow? I'm just going real quick and coloring in the areas with my yellow crayon. Did you see it? Did you see what I did? But I'm not finished. Watch. Then I'm going to take out my red crayon. Watch. I'm going to teach you how to make fire look really cool. Now, we're not going to play with fire. We're not going to touch it. But when we're coloring it on our paper, we can make it look realistic. So then I'm going to take my red and I'm going to kind of go over the yellow and get in some more areas. Do you see I'm not coloring every bit of it, but I'm just making it look like the color of fire. Did you see that? That was exciting, but I'm not finished. I'm going to do the same thing with my orange crayon. And I made this fire right here look just like fire. I'm going to leave this picture here for you so that you can see the colors of this firefighter. Think of the other colors in other areas, but they're going to have those bright stripes. They're reflective. But look at my picture. You see, I colored this picture for you. I took my time. I stayed inside of the lines. I would like for you to color your picture. You may take out a crayon one at a time, and you may begin. Those firefighters, oh, they are such good helpers. I like the way Carter, he took out his crayon. He is trying to do that fire the way I told them. But fire is important. I should never play with matches. If mom and dad are out back grilling, I should never go by the grill or play with a barbecue. I should not touch the stove. I should not push buttons on the stove. I should not turn dials on that oven. I need to be very careful that I stay safe. I don't touch it because it could hurt me. It could burn me. It is very, very hot. You know, I have to tell you, one time, Mrs. Turner picked up something that was so hot and it burned all of my fingers on my hand. But God healed my hand. It looks just normal. You wouldn't know. But I have to tell you, it was so hot and it hurt. And oh, I wanted to cry. Maybe I did a little. It's okay. Even grown-ups have to cry sometimes. But I learned a lesson to be more careful and to not let that happen again. So I'm telling you things that you shouldn't do to keep you safe. So don't touch hot things on the stove. Maybe mom has an iron that she's ironing the clothes to get the wrinkles out. Don't touch it. Maybe she has a curling iron that she does for her hair. Don't touch it. It's hot. What about candles? Do you have candles at home? You should not play with that candle. If mom and dad have that candle lit, leave it. We want you to be safe. It's important to know fire safety. Now, I want you to keep coloring, and as you color, I'm going to talk about what's on the back of your paper. You can look at the back of your paper in a little bit, but I want you to keep coloring. It's okay to keep coloring, Carson. Don't play with matches or fire. If you find a match or a lighter outside, don't even touch it. Go to an adult and tell an adult, and they will get it for you. Don't even touch it, students watching. What do you do if your clothes catch fire? What are you going to do? Stop.
Drop, and roll.
You got it. If there's a fire at your house, do you hide? No. What do? Don't hide. Go outside. Number 3 on the back of your paper says, get out of a burning building. Don't hide. Go outside. Talk to your family, students watching. Where do you meet them if your house is on fire? And if you've not talked about it with them, that's a good thing for you to talk about even today. Number 4 says, keep back from campfires. Maybe you like to go camping with mom and dad. Some friends in our class have told me that they're going camping soon, and that's exciting. Don't go near that fire. It could hurt you. Be very careful. Number 5 on the back says, learn your address. You see, when you call 911, you have to tell them your name. You have to tell them your address, your phone number. You have to tell them what's the emergency. And remember, as we talked, we're only going to dial 911 when there's an emergency. And then number 6 says, stay away from a hot stove. You could get burned. I don't want you to get hurt. It's not fun. So if we follow these rules, we will be safe. We don't play with matches. We stop, drop, and roll if our clothes catch fire. We don't hide. We go outside, get out of a burning building. Maybe you have fire drills to help you practice that to make sure you get out of the building safely. Those are good things. You know, there's something special that we've not mentioned yet in our lesson. It is called a smoke detector. Do you have one at home? Good question to ask your family. Do they check it to make sure it's working? That's going to help you know there's smoke. You need to get out. Don't hide. Go outside. In our lesson today, we are so thankful for the brave men and women who are firefighters. They take the time each day to go out and to help people that need help. They put out fires, and day after day, they do this. Why? Because they want to help the people in our community.